This, gentlemen, is how we will save the world from the many diseases plaguing humanity today. Dr. Kurt Nestor thumped the side of the covered box to make a thick, hollow sound. He removed the blue silk box cover with ceremony. An oak-covered coffin-sized box, hip-high, enough to see the 2 copper plates inside a rubber-lined casing, the needle bars holes, and the outline of the patient area in copper. A thin layer of water glinted in the light. He flourished his pristine white lab coat as he walked confidently toward his audience. The doctor proudly stepped to the side of the lab to further show off his new machine. His monocle caught the light from strategically placed gas lamps. A group of men, whose dress varied from black-suited business attire to crisp military uniforms with sparkling medals, surveyed Dr. Nestor's box with curiosity from the arena-style seating. Eyes judged from above. The doctor made a conscious effort not to shove his hands into his pockets, but instead fumbled with his brass-ringed monocle, his deep southern drawl strained with stress, his confidence evaporating in those icy stares. He continued to lecture his guests. Rudy Virchow proved omnis cellula e cellula, translated to all cells arise from pre-existing cells. In 1858, Bob Remack found, when electrocuted, the outer cell walls in the human body become unstable. Soften. The cell wall welcomes the merger of another cell, invadable, susceptible. With this knowledge, I can introduce other species cells into the body, and thus into the human cells. If the body, cells, accepts my serum, the host will take on the attributes of the species induced, as if born to them, all disease gone. In this particular case, snake, bear, and hawk species have gone into my serum. Eyesight and quickness from the hawk are increased. Strength and stamina from the bear will diminish the disease infecting the test subject. He emphasized each word with his monocle. The snake provides cunning and a flexible exoskeleton. Usually, as an extremely educated and sophisticated plantation owner, Dr. Nestor held a power unto his own in his community. These generals had effectively diminished his confidence in his wondrous apparatus with just their ice-cold stares. They demanded to see his machine, his creation, demanded. His fingers clenched the cold wood and rubber side of his apparatus with the offending memory. His forced smile faltered. Unbidden, the preposterous event burned his inner eye. I am Lieutenant Chase Arlington, aide to a powerful general who wishes to remain anonymous. Lieutenant Arlington sniffed his upturned nose. His mud-colored eyes scanned the laboratory as if the surgery arena was a pigsty. The man shuffled his dirt-splashed boots, impatiently signaling his wasted time. The skinny, uniformed man thrust out his arm to present a folded paper to the good doctor, who was loath to touch it. But touch it he must. With disdain going unnoticed by the haughty soldier, Dr. Nestor opened the missive. I will tell the general you are agreeable to the time and date provided to preview your contraption. This was not a question. The doctor flinched at the use of the word contraption. The soldier implied many negative assumptions with his choice of word. He crumpled the missive with a single date written. No common courtesy words of invitation, no names, no thank you, nothing. The chill of the wood, copper, and rubber box on his tense body forced his attention back to the present, which was equally unpleasant. Fortunately, his spectator's interest was not on himself, but focused rather on the odd-looking machine to his left. The adjustable wooden and rubber rectangle box with 2 plates fashioned of copper in the center length glistening orange in the gaslight, called for a patient. Mechanical arms, attached to cogs, connected on the sides and bottom of the container to the power source. Robotic arms, the length of a body, hovered above the box. These arms, coupled to tight springs, would press forward through holes in the rubber, all at once, pushing the needles into the body. A burst of high-pressured air injects the liquid into the body, then back out as the needles tended to melt during the electrocution stage, if left within the box. Within very half-inch of the mechanical arm protruded a nasty-looking needle. The base of the needle fit into a rubber syringe filled with a thick red liquid. The syringe cradled in a hole perfectly machined in the rubber, allowing the tiniest space for the syringe to clear. Grease dripped from the left middle gear. A helmet awaited the next volunteer. The odd head covering resembled a bent paper-folded hat, a bent triangle. The hat was also filled with needles strategically placed. The head received only 1 dose of serum, but 3 doses of electricity. The first part of the doctor's procedure required electrocution. Thick copper wires were soldered to 2 copper bars which the patient lay. These wires led back to the huge steam generator, positioned to the back left. With that much steam, the cogs and gears could produce enough friction to power all the gas lights in Richmond. Today, they just needed enough to fry the person in the box. Where does the electricity go, Doctor? Do we have to worry about residual electrocution? One fat black-suited man asked, sitting forward on his tiny seat. The electricity travels along these copper bars from the head to the feet and out. The same copper plates the patient lays upon. Underneath at the end of the bars, or foot, are thick copper cables to ground the electricity. This box is lined with rubber and wood layers, with only direct places to ground. "Do you have a volunteer, Doctor?" interrupted one of the generals in a gray Confederate uniform. He spoke in a smooth, haughty voice. The others nodded, eager to see the machine work and what it produced, not listen to a madman spew his ramblings. "I have, General." Dr. Nestor motioned for a thin man to come forward. The man hesitantly stepped into the limelight. He shook, for he wore only a loincloth. His white, blue-veined body was covered with oozing sores and blemishes. Dr. Nestor had to stifle the urge to comfort the sickly man as he lay down in the cold, coffin-like box. The doctor adjusted the rubber helmet into place. The man's eyes were wide with hope and fear. Dr. Nestor held his tongue. This wasn't the time or place to appear sentimental. These spectators wouldn't understand. The crux of the problem he had with the general's order to show off his device. They didn't understand why he built his continuous genetic machine. 2 men in white cotton shirts and black suspenders started to power up the generator hooked to his machine. Steam hissed and choked as the large generator roared to life. The whir of the cogs filled the room. The general leaned forward in his seat, anxious, skeptic, expecting failure. "I don't need to warn you, at this stage of development I have many, mutant subjects created from their body's rejection of my serum. However, those who can withstand my procedure come out perfected and disease-free. Better than the original, stronger, faster, and more intelligent, mutant or congen." Dr. Nestor stroked his well-trimmed black beard. The men whispered and snickered in their seats at his word, mutant. "What do you mean by mutant, Doctor? Are they functioning? Can you control them?" were some of the questions flung his way. He was nervous. These generals pushed the issue. They wanted to see his continuous genetic subjects, the con-gen, his con-gen. Why would they want his machine? It wouldn't help their efforts for his beloved South to win the war of northern aggression. His mutants and con-gen were human beings, and far too intelligent for these generals. He thought proudly. "We are ready, Doctor," his assistant whispered, breaking any other thoughts invading his mind. "Both good and bad. Showtime." Dr. Nestor rubbed his hands together. "I will show you." His clipped words negated any further interrogation. Thunk, thunk, oh. The steam generator throbbed. A blue light filled the water and caused the man within to vibrate, to buck and shift. The light dimmed. With perfect timing, the mechanical arms thrust inward. The needles simultaneously jabbed into the jerking subject. The red liquid drained from the syringes and shot into the body of the volunteer, and then back out the holes. The whir of the dial brought a new rubber syringe to the needle. For 2 more times, this procedure tortured the patient for a total of 3. Dr. Nestor refused to go any more times, as the mind of the patient might be fried from too much electricity. The patient grew still. Dr. Nestor paced the length of his box as the water drained from his machine, inspecting the progression of his formula. He did not touch the box. The man lay still. His skin turned the reddish color of the liquid in dots. The spectators peered hard, unsure their eyes were seeing clearly. The subject's skin was moving, rippling, growing. Patches of blemished skin were clearing. Oozing sores were healing, but it wasn't with human flesh. His dermis became reptile, snake-like. An assistant ran to the foot of the box. He turned a handle, allowing the rest of the water to escape the container. The other assistant tried to loosen the strap of the helmet to remove the object from the head of the volunteer. Quicker than it took to blink, the creature grasped the assistant's arm and tugged. The assistant screamed, falling to the floor. The water remaining in the box turned blood red. One general stood up in his chair with alarm. "No need to worry," Dr. Nestor assured as he produced another syringe from a waiting tray and plunged the thick needle into the now hairy thigh of the man. The mutant collapsed into the bottom of the box. "This is why I needed more time to perfect the machine. He has become a mutant." The other assistant was helping tourniquet the injured arm of his partner with precision. Obviously, not his first time coming to the rescue of an associate. "He is strong and quick. He would be a great soldier," were some of the comments. "We could rule America with just a platoon of these mutants." Dr. Nestor became dumb. Soldiers? Run? America? His brain refused to process the betrayal of the general. The military man promised medicinal uses for his machines and his con-gen, not to be weaponized. Could you imagine a band of mutants fighting the war? It would be a massacre. General McClellan would be pleased to command some of these beasts. Even the unnaturally tall Lincoln would fall beneath the boots of an army such as this. A man dressed in black stepped forward to view the unconscious being in the box. "General McClellan, he fights for the Union." Dr. Nestor stammered in confusion. "I'm not sorry, Doctor, but your device will end the war. Not in the way you envisioned. Nonetheless, it will end the war." A great Chinese strategist stated, "An army was superior when not hindered by an emperor. In this case, by a president." The general motioned. Men dressed in forest green uniforms stormed the medical arena. 2 soldiers shot the armless assistant and carried his lifeless body to the exit. Lieutenant Arlington shouted, "Fools! I wanted to see if his arm could grow back." The soldiers paused and glanced at the body, shrugged, and threw it out the door like garbage. Dr. Nestor was taken into rough custody, while the distinguished men above drank champagne and toasted their imminent success. The last thing Dr. Nestor saw was his trusted assistant being clapped on the back and surrounded by the spectators. The Judas was motioning to the power plant of his device. Dr. Nestor's box. Dr. Nestor's curse. Dr. Nestor's Curse by Julie Maxwell is only available on Kindle. Thank you for watching Chapter 1 of my book, Dr. Nestor's Curse, a Steampunk Romance. I will be posting all the chapters. Thank you to Rune Snow, number 27869. Pixabay Videos, Canva, and Midjourney for the artwork, background, and characters. 11 Labs for the voiceover. Please like, share, and subscribe.